kızıl gül var. Gül var ey gül var.
So this is our tour leader.
This is our first stop today, and here we are at the Afak Hoja Mausoleum, and behind me now is the tomb of the fragrant concubine, and it's the site of where there was a huge massacre. And so inside there's lots of coffins covered in really beautiful material, and it ranges from everyone from queens to kings to even their children. And it was a fight between two rival factions, and one night one of the rival factions came in and slaughtered everyone. And so here we are checking it out.
How about that one? That looks really wild. It's a geriatric gypsy on a horse. Take one, take two.
Okay, so here we are in the handicrafts part of Kashgar, and this is the best place to buy souvenirs in the whole of Kashgar. So they've got great things such as hats, there's wooden crafts, there's breads, there's spices, and it's fantastic for tourists. We're still on Souvenir Street here in Kashgar, and we've got some street food. So these are called samsi. They're similar to samsi that you get in Central Asia, which is like a dumpling filled with spiced lamb and onions. But this one here, it comes in a crispy bread and it's baked in like a tandoor oven as well. Amazing. We're cooking lamb. So here we've got our lovely chef behind us, prepping it with the marinade. And we've already got some inside in our tandoor oven, which is extremely hot. I'd say a few more minutes. Here we are in the night markets. We're going to be eating tonight one of the local delicacies, which is pilaf, or fried rice with mutton, and we're also going to be dishing into meat sticks as well, which is a local favourite here. So this is one of my favourite things about Xinjiang. It looks like just a normal meat stick, but it tastes like a kebab shop mixed with your local Chinese takeaway place, and it's just amazing. It's just lamb, really fatty lamb, and it's cooked on charcoals outside in the restaurant. Okay, so here we have the pilaf, which is basically fried rice with mutton. We've got dapanji, which is like this mixture of spices with local bready type pasta and chicken and all these other great things in it. How is it, David?
Very good. This is a place to eat if you're a carnivore.
Yeah, it's not a place for vegetarians. So this is Xinjiang's greatest gift to mankind. This is dapanji. It's where you basically get a whole bunch of chicken, potatoes, capsicum, and then tons of spices, and you just cook it all together. And later on, they're going to bring out some fresh noodles that are all just handmade, and they dump it in once you've eaten a lot of the chicken, and it gets mixed in with the soup, and it's basically the best thing in the world. So here we are in Yarkand. This is where we stop on part of our road trip from Kashgar down to Hotan. We're about 200 kilometers, so roughly at the halfway point. And here we are in the main square with the mosque behind me. This is the Yarkand main mosque. At the moment the prayers are going on, so it's pretty quiet around here, and it's the Muslim holiday on the Friday. But we're just going to go and explore the town before we get back in the car and head down to Hotan. Here we are now inside what's known as the Amunisa Mausoleum, a memorial to Mukam. And Mukam is a type of traditional Uyghur music that's used in nearly all of the songs you'll hear in Xinjiang. And the 12 people that created this music are shown on the outside of the roofs here.
What's going on?
So we're on the outskirts of Hotan right now, and there's a bit of a sandstorm, and so we've just gone through yet another police checkpoint, and the police have decided to give us an escort on the way into town. So now we're feeling pretty special, a bit like criminals, and yeah, we're going to get there faster and with a bunch of handsome gentlemen to take us there.
So we finally made it to Hotan after a really long day on the road, and we've come across this absolute monstrosity of a restaurant. It's fantastic though. You find these types of restaurants all over Xinjiang, and they have this kind of Tehran meets Willy Wonka meets Uyghur culture feel, and the food is great, they're really cheap, and there's nothing better than sitting in something that looks like grandmother threw up in Iran. Here we are at the Hotan Silk Handicrafts Factory. This is where they've been preparing silk scarves and ties and all kinds of silk products for many hundreds of years, and this is the last one of its kind left in China. And so you can see them doing it the traditional way by taking the actual cocoons of the silkworm and they put it in the water and then they spin it on the wheel like they've been doing for many centuries. So here we are at the southern edge of the Taklamakan Desert in Xinjiang, China, and we're about to go ride some camels and do it like they did in the old Silk Road time. It's gonna be cool. So we've just spent all night on a 14-hour sleeper bus through the Taklamakan Desert, and we're now at the northern edge of the desert in a town called Kulcha at the Kizil 1000 Buddha caves that were made around the 3rd to the 5th century, and it's these really beautiful caves that have all these blue paintings on the inside. We're about 25 k's outside of Kulcha in Xinjiang, and this is one of the highlights of our trip, the Subasha Buddhist ruins. So this place is about 1,500 years old. It's a great spot on our trip. We've got awesome scenery behind us and some awesome history here. Later on tonight we're going to be catching the train over to Turfan, and that is known as the Death Valley of China and sits at 142 meters below sea level. So it's going to be good fun. We are collecting provisions for our overnight train to Turfan. Local beer. What have you got, Matt?
And we have spicy chicken foot. Fantastic.
Recommended
Really
essentials
cool.
for any YPT train trip: chicken feet and beer. 6 a.m. We've just arrived in Turpan.
We don't even have a flag.
Get a flag.
I want a flag.
You have to earn a flag. Here we are exploring the mud brick houses of Tuyok village. This place is about 1500 to 1600 years old. It's one of the best stops when you come to Turpan. It's about 50 k's outside the city and there's not many tourists at all. So if you want to come to Turpan and avoid the hordes of Chinese tourists, this is definitely one of the places to come. It's awesome. There's some really nice people that invite you into their houses.
Oh, home in the rain.
And we've just been invited into one of these houses by one of the local Uyghur families, and so we're just here enjoying being out of the hot sun because it's very hot here.
Grab some watermelon, guys.
Here we are inside one of the traditional mud brick houses, and we're about to sit down for some lunch to escape the daytime heat. We're going to be having a type of Uyghur noodle dish. In Chinese it's called banmian. It's like a capsicum flavored noodle dish with mutton, beans, tomatoes and capsicum. It's really awesome. Here we have our host behind us making fresh noodles with her hands. They come in a big pot with the dough already done beforehand, and she threads them individually. And so these are going to be lunch today. Okay, so here we've got the finished product of what our amazing hosts have made us, these delicious noodles. You go great with some vinegar. And now for the best part. After 6 days and thousands of kilometers, we finally made it to the last stop on our China Far West New Frontier tour out here in Xinjiang. Here we are in Turpan, exploring the Yarkota ruins, which are about 1,500 years old. That's the very, very last stop on our tour before we head out for a farewell dinner, some drinks, and we say goodbye to the friends we've made on this trip. Here we are at the Gaochang night market in Turpan, just off the main square here, and as you can see we have an absolute feast. This is the last meal together as the group on the trip. So we've got the usual roasted lamb, grilled barbecue stuff. We've got dumplings from this region that have a different flavor to the rest of China. We've got these great cold noodles with vinegar and chili in it, and these clay pots that they just put a whole bunch of stuff in, and then also of course the bread, just as usual. But I'm going to start with my favorite. This stuff is really awesome.